everyone. My name is Kristen Champong and I'm currently studying a Master's in Commerce, specializing in economic development, and I'm also one of the co-presidents for the UCT chapter for 2021, and welcome to the second episode of Keeping Up with Golden Key.
And today's topic is time management. My name is Duli Buhelo and I'm the co-president of the Golden Key UCT chapter. So, why do I think it is important to manage my time well? Essentially, I'm a very goal-oriented person, and in the process of goal setting, time plays a very crucial factor. Knowing when you want a specific task to be achieved and going to the next and so forth. So I feel this requires good time management, and that's why I believe it is an important skill.
I prioritize tasks by essentially answering these three questions. First, what needs to be done, when does it need to be done by, and how long will the task take to get done. And specifically with the last question, I also look at giving or allowing myself time for potential hiccups and delays that may come along the way, and also thinking about whether I am working with someone or other people, working by myself, because normally then it does take longer for a project or a task to be done. And essentially answering these three questions will allow me to prioritize my tasks and see what I need to start with first.
For example, a project that I have planned will be good and all if I plan it months in advance, but that would be kind of counterproductive if I'm going to ignore a deliverable that's due in 2 or 3 days. So it's pretty simple. And I think naturally we are all aware of what is important to be done now and to be done later. This is a pretty tough one for me personally. I always fall victim to distractions of all kinds, but recently I've learned to always jot down things, literally putting things on paper, everything that I plan, or so that I do not get distracted, so that I always have a point of reference to get working again. But I must say that taking some time off to sort of recalibrate is never a bad idea, and it is all about working within your targeted time frames.
Distractions by only allowing myself to look at my phone, and particularly to go on social media at certain times of the day. It's definitely easier said than done, and it does take some getting used to because it is a habit that you build. I also give myself small breaks throughout the day, so whether that's watching a new episode of a Netflix series or video chatting with someone, and I've just found that having those small things to look forward to during the day gives me the motivation to focus on and do the tasks that need to get done that day.
I think this is similar to prioritizing tasks. Having a good idea of what is due at what time, as I mentioned, and I always opt to having reminders on my calendar, be it on my phone, on the wall. But then again, I'm one of those people, that work well under pressure. So a large part of me managing deadlines is always a result of starting tasks precisely at a time where I'll feel that this will be done but close to the deadline. So basically for me it's all about getting it done, but I'm aware that it's quite of a bad habit, but I think over the years it's kept me going.
Maintaining a healthy work-life balance, for me, it's quite important because it helps you remain healthy and have a healthy lifestyle. So for me, what I do is once a week, I will allow myself to completely take that day off and do whatever I feel like, whether it's being lazy and watching Netflix and YouTube for the whole day, or reading a book, or going out for a walk and spending the day outside, or just seeing a friend. It's also something that motivates me pushes me to do the things that I need to do during the week so that I can truly enjoy my time off.
Yes, it's quite simple for me. I exercise. I usually take about a 3 to 5 kilometer run after a long day. This helps me feel revitalized. It helps me feel fresh and energized, and just to keep going and keep being productive as the day goes.
I manage stressful situations by trying to minimize my own internal stress as much as possible, and this comes from starting tasks early and setting intermediary deadlines and working towards them, because I find that when I'm as least stressed as possible, it's a lot easier for me to manage and respond to external stresses or stresses that come up all of a sudden, because those sorts of stress are inevitable and that's just sort of the way life works. I also set boundaries for myself and I know which tasks I can and cannot take on, and I know when to say no to things and when to say no to tasks, and to either not take them on at all or to only take them on a bit later. And the last thing I would say is that I try to, when a stressful situation does come up, I try to focus on finding a solution rather than being stressed about the fact that I'm in a stressful situation. And this sort of mindset has really allowed me to just keep my head down and work for a solution, which I've found has worked well for me so far, even though I'm a person who doesn't like working under a stressful situation.
And the typical day for me, my routine basically, it's quite simple. I get up in the morning, start off with my morning coffee, check, respond to emails, the day's emails, and by midday I'm already working. Late afternoon, I take my jog and get back to work basically. But I must say that, Champion League nights are always reserved. So work will definitely come to a halt on such nights.
A
And
typical
then
day
what are
for
my
me
favorite?
starts around 5:30 in the morning. I normally just wake up and start doing the things that are on my to-do list for that day. So that normally includes going over the previous day's lectures, and then once I do that, I normally take a break, have some breakfast, shower, um, and then after that, I will either continue going through the previous day's lectures, or I will start prepping for the following day's lectures, and then sort of halfway through the day, um, take a bit of a lunch break, um, go on my phone, see what's happening on social media and things like that, and in the news, and um, then for the rest of the day, it's sort of working on assignments and responding to emails, um, and then taking a short little break and then going to bed. But normally, before I go to bed, I will sort of have take an hour or an hour and a half to myself, just sort of wind down, um, and prepare my mind to rest and to try and get a good night's sleep. That normally includes doing some stretches that are really good at relaxing your muscles and just helping you fall asleep, and doing some mindfulness and breathing exercises just to center myself and to stop my mind from racing so much, just so that I can really get a good night's sleep. My favorite productivity tools are, I would say honestly, I'm not really into using super fancy or new productivity tools. I still very much enjoy using a diary and a printed calendar that I stick on my wall. And since lockdown, I've really liked using Microsoft Teams, especially for group work and assignments that involve quite a number of people, and using the task function over there to sort of remind you of when you have things due or when things are coming up. I also like using the calendar tool in Outlook that also reminds you of when you have something due, and you can set your reminders to a time when you would want the software to remind you of when you have something due. So yeah, very basic, but for me those are sort of the tools that I use, and that's what's worked really well for me so far.
And my golden advice, it relates to passion. You got to know yourself, know what you're ultimately passionate about, and keep improving yourself. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid of failure. There are always golden nuggets to be learned in every experience in your life. And yeah.
My golden advice would be to say no to things and to activities that take you away from your priorities and your goals in life, because those opportunities or whatever they are, they'll always come up, and some of them will be great, and if you do have the capacity to take it on, then do so. But if you overburden yourself and you stretch yourself too thin, it really just becomes a headache, and it becomes very difficult to manage, and it starts to affect all aspects of your life. So definitely my advice would be know what your priorities are and know when to say no, because it's very easy to get lost in all of that.
And yeah, thank you all.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Keeping Up with Golden Key. I hope that you enjoyed it and you learned something new or were able to relate to something that was said today. Keep a lookout on our social medias for all of the amazing events that our portfolio directors have planned for this year, and also keep a lookout for more Keeping Up with Golden Key episodes coming to you every month, so that you can get to know the people that are behind the Golden Key UCT chapter for 2021.